To Your Best Interviews. My name is Eric Smith. Thank you so much for spending the time here with me. I know there's a lot of places you can go, so I appreciate you spending it here with me. This is going to be really short, but something that I think is so important when you're starting the interview process. You have to take account of your energy. This is the most secret ingredient that there is in the interview process, is taking stock of your energy as you go into these interviews. So just keep in mind that my advice is centered around the broadest range of interviewers that you could encounter, right? And so I try not to give advice that's very specific to one style of interviewer versus another. But one thing that's pretty universal and ranks really high in interview scorecards is interviewees' energy. And so you need to take stock of this. And it can hurt you or help you, right? And there's different ways to use that as a tool in your favor. If you're somebody who already has naturally a lot of energy, maybe you want to check some of that energy because you don't know who you're interviewing with. A lot of high energy could play really well for somebody who also has high energy or values that really highly. But it could hurt you if you're interviewing with somebody who maybe is more low energy and is turned off by super high energy. So if you're somebody who naturally has high energy, make sure that you're checking yourself. And as you're doing your practice, watch yourself in the mirror as you're practicing your answers. Make sure that you're letting personality come through and showing some positive energy because that will help you, right? But if you're over the top, if you're doing too much and you're not mirroring the person that you're interviewing with, it could potentially be a negative. So just keep that in mind. If you're somebody who has natural energy, that's great and likely it's going to help you in the interview process, but just make sure that you're checking that and that you're also reading the signs of who you're interviewing with to make sure that you're mirroring and matching some of their energy while still letting your personality come through, smile, those type of things. Now, if you're on the other side of the spectrum here and you're somebody who's naturally maybe not as energetic or your natural state isn't high energy and letting your personality out in how you're interviewing isn't natural for you, you might need to try and amp that up just a bit because, again, you're going to be judged on a very short amount of time. The person who's interviewing you doesn't really know you outside of that particular interview that you're doing. And so they're going to get a very collapsed sense of who you are. And you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. And so, again, going back to my advice is all centered on giving you the greatest chances based on the widest spectrum of people that could potentially be interviewing you. Having energy, allowing your personality come through always is going to be a benefit versus, I would say not always. That's a bad use there. More often than not, it's going to benefit you versus hurt you. And so if you're somebody who's maybe more naturally low energy, make sure that you're mirroring the person that you're interviewing with. If the person you're interviewing with has good energy, make sure that you're mirroring what they're doing. If they're smiling a lot, smile in your answers. If they're cracking jokes, it's okay to respond to those or maybe, crack a joke back. But the other side is if they have good energy, if they're speaking at a high rate, try and match some of that the best that you can. It will help you advance in the interview process and be seen as somebody more like them, which bodes well for you in the interview process. I know this advice might be a little bit controversial. People are going to look at this and say, I'm not being who I am, or you're coaching me to not be who I am in the interview process. I'm not trying to do that, but I also want to be very realistic that you oftentimes are going to encounter an unfair bias in this interview process. And part of that is how you present yourself in the interview. And a lot of that is your energy. And so if you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, if you want to make sure that you are getting the greatest odds of getting the job that you really want, you need to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and that you're showing yourself in the best light to who you're interviewing with. That's why that mirroring and showing good energy in the interview process and matching the interviewer's energy is going to help you. So energy is one of those secret ingredients, but you want to make sure that you're not over the top, but certainly not that you're underwhelming in your energy as well. And so practice that. Make sure that when you're practicing, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're kind of assessing what your energy looks like, and then practice with other people and try and match their energy as you're giving your answers. This will all help you put your best foot forward. And just keep in mind that the interview process is a very condensed amount of time for them to make a big decision on you. And so you need to make sure that you're doing every little thing correctly so that you can get what you really want. Guys, thanks so much for being here. If this was helpful, hit subscribe. I drop 2 videos every week, Monday and Wednesday, and then check out all the links below. I've got a ton of free resources for you. All of my content is centered on helping you get the job that you really want. I have 3 different courses, so if you're just starting this interview process, or you're somebody who gets overwhelmed in the interview process, gets a lot of nerves around the interview process, I completely understand that. I put an entire comprehensive course that helps you with advice like this at every step in the interview process. So guys, thanks so much. Check out everything below, and good luck to you.